Oh, that's so much better than Monday, Rob. Hi, everyone. Welcome into My Chamber TV. We are the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly, and with me is my co-host friend and King Pithla.
Yes, I am King Pithla.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Paul
And we
Friedlander.
are here today, as always, I of course represent Total Title Solutions, but we are here today representing the awesome West Pasco Chamber of Commerce. And we have an awesome guest today. This is a good buddy of mine that's been a friend for a long time. And that is Mr. Frankie Roman with Roman Plumbing.
Hey, Frankie.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
It's great to have you in the show today.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Yes,
It's awesome. Yeah,
Listen,
awesome.
we'll just get right into it, dude. You are, there's a lot of people in the area that do plumbing, but you're a special sort of guy. You've got your own company, you've got your own trucks, but guys, anybody asks, he's the best plumber in the world, and his mom will vouch for that every time. Talk to us about what steps up for you guys.
As far as
The service and
so basically we are a full service company, and we are focused more on working with the homeowners.
Yes.
These days. We like to help homeowners with their problems, whether it be day or night, weekends, and we'll come out there and take care of them, you know, whenever they need at a fair price.
And that is the fact, because I can relate to the fact that one night we were in downtown Newport Richey, and there was Frankie with his truck about 7, 8, maybe even 9 o'clock at night, because one of the businesses down there at that time had an emergency situation.
So yeah, that's pretty regular for us. Not so much for me anymore to be there, but one of the guys to definitely be there. I'm trying to get into the stage of running the actual business these days, and
You got yourself a brand spanking new office too, don't you?
yeah, I love it downtown. Downtown is a beautiful
Are you
little place.
downtown? Oh,
yes.
nice. Very
Yes.
nice.
We're right on Montana and Grand.
Right across the street from Jimmy's to the south.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
just a block away, and you know we've made that place our home. You know, we walk up to the other businesses there. We pretty much know everybody by name. It's like Cheers.
Isn't that wonderful, though? They have just made such big changes down there, and it's like one big happy family of business owners.
Yeah, definitely. I implore anybody that's in the downtown or even outside on the outskirts to come into the downtown area of Newport Richey and visit some of our friends down there. You know, at SIP, at Pete's, at Cody, at Ordnance. All these guys are great people.
Yeah. And Frankie, talk to everybody knows that there's plumbing, but do you guys do everything? You guys softeners and install. What exactly services do you supply?
So we do everything from little leak fixes, the little nuisances,
Yes.
to the major blowouts on like a commercial building up to like 4-inch pipe. And we'll get a team out there, and we had one recently up on 52, and we were out there till about 6 o'clock in the morning, working through the night, trying to make sure that they got up and running. So
That's dedication.
yeah.
You're definitely in the service business, for
Yeah,
sure.
no, we're definitely in the service
Yeah.
business. Our guys are trained to make sure that they deal with the customers properly, and they take every step to make sure that the customer is comfortable.
And for anybody that knows or is familiar with the trades, especially when it comes to plumbing or electric or AC or anything like that, it's hard to sort through and find good people to work for you, isn't it?
It is hard.
bet.
So we have a few points that we look for. Clean driver's license. We make sure our employees are background checked and drug tested to make sure our homeowners are safe. And we just go above and beyond to make sure our guys are trained when they get to the customer's home that customer is happy.
Yeah.
That's our main focus. We do have a 100% satisfaction guarantee that if our customers aren't happy, that they don't have to pay. So, I mean,
No,
we've
by the
only had
way,
to take 1 or 2 people up on that, but you'll
Yeah.
always have the one.
There's
Yeah, sure
always
you do.
Yeah.
one.
And let's talk about things like water heaters. In this day and age, there's all kinds. There's your big ones, your little ones. There's your tankless ones. Just out of curiosity, what's the difference? What do you recommend for a homeowner in this day and age?
So for a homeowner, I recommend whatever they want. You know, it's all a preference.
Is it?
You have efficient tank-type water heaters, and then you have efficient tankless water heaters. Once again, it's a preference. I'm not there to sell something that the customer doesn't want or need.
Right.
So if the customer is looking a certain way, then we try and help them through that process to find the right system for them.
And if I remember correctly, you were in Chicago for a while. I believe it was Chicago, getting some extra special training that you're certified in. And what was that?
We've done a few trainings, and the Chicago one, I believe that was the one we went up for.
Is that the glazing?
No, it was complete bathroom remodels with acrylic.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Yeah,
Very
so
nice.
it's kind of a one-day bath remodel.
Uh-huh. Really?
And we'll go in there, we'll pull apart the walls and get you up and running, usually in a day or two.
That's
Really?
fabulous.
It's one day, depending if it's a simple job.
Right. And
2 days or more if it's a remodel portion.
Okay, so is that somebody that's just ready to remodel their bathroom, or somebody that just is having some challenges? How exactly does that work, boss?
So for those customers, those are going to be the ones that they have family coming over and they waited till the 11th hour to get that going.
Gotcha.
That bathroom that hasn't been running for about a year, and all of a sudden they need it up and going. So
that is a great pitch for what you
Yeah,
do.
it is.
yeah,
You know?
it's pretty much the whole plumbing deal anyway.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Well,
And
that's
And
awesome.
you've been doing that now for a couple of years, yeah? 3, 4 years?
Yeah,
I
we've
think.
been doing it a little bit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now we're really focused on doing the short-term plumbing stuff.
Right.
The leak fixes and tankless water heaters, stuff that homeowners need that some plumbers aren't really paying attention to.
Gotcha.
Taking the extra steps and flushing the water heater, we're educating our customers on what needs to be done in their house, so that this way they are provided with the options to make the best decisions that they can for their system.
And that's key. Education is such key today. I saw my first tankless water heater at Remax training a couple of weeks ago, just because I live under a rock.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you're doing all these wonderful things. So you've been with the Chamber for how long?
I want to say about 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
Really?
it's
So
been a
you
little bit.
Oh, great. How's it working for you?
The Chamber's been great for us. I mean, I think that's how I met Paul initially.
Yeah?
I've been very fortunate through the Chamber to meet, people like Paul, who I have to bow down to really now because of the crown, and it's really helped our business.
That's great.
I can't say enough about the Chamber and what it's helped do for us.
And let me tell you something else that's helped their business. These guys, Joanna and Frankie, they've got 2 cool boys. They give back and give back and give back to the community, and that's what helps this
wonderful.
business too.
Yes. So one of the ways we give back is actually through our, not through our, but a Rotary.
Right.
So we're a Rotary family. My wife's in Port Richey Rotary. I was in Seven Springs Rotary, and now we're also, we've moved and opened up a charter for the Sunset Club of West Pasco Rotary.
Oh,
So that is a Rotary that meets at night from 6 to 7 p.m. on Wednesdays, the first and third Wednesday of the month. So we're looking for new members. If you know of anybody who would like to be a Rotarian, we would love to have them.
And it's a great concept, guys, because for anybody that's in the area, we know that Trinity Rotary and the other ones meet on Friday afternoons. There's a few that meet for breakfast. And a lot of times for business people, that makes it tough, and yet they want to be part of a strong, solid service organization. You guys got that thing up and running like a charm in a very, very short period of time.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to have people like Bob Memley on our team,
Oh, love Bob.
Rich Allen, Trish, Clay, and the Senderlings
Oh, there you go.
to help us out with all of that. I mean, those are just a few to start with, and they have the Rotary experience that we really need.
But those mentioned names he just mentioned are strong community leaders.
Yeah.
That have now been able to strengthen not only themselves but our community, because now they can serve through Rotary at a time that's convenient for them, as opposed to not getting away during their workday.
Yeah.
That was your challenge?
That was my challenge, yeah. I mean, for a little bit, the 7 a.m. meetings worked great for me. On Wednesdays, it became a challenge with my boys and taking them to school. And so for about a year there, it was a little bit tough. And then in speaking with Rich, we started making the strides to go ahead and get that new charter started up.
And I will tell you, being at the district level, that was one I've been around, and there was a charter club about a year ago or so, maybe not quite that long, but it took them almost a year to get up and running. You guys have had this together for how long now?
Well, we're officially chartered now since, I believe it was March 1.
Yeah, but you started this process about when?
Probably about 6 or 7 months now.
So
Cool. That's very
popularity.
cool.
But back to you guys. So we talked about waterless, but we talked about the glazing. Is there any other? I know you're trying to get in. It sounds like you're here for what they really need, which is the resident that's got a leak, that needs something fixed, that's got a drain in their tub that's been plugged up for the last 10 years or something like that. And I know you do the water, but it sounds like you also train them to keep it to help them with good conditions and make sure it lasts longer.
Yeah, so that's part of the educating of the customer.
Yes.
To make sure they understand that you should be doing these little things to help your home last longer, if you will. It's kind of like a car. You take your car in for oil changes so that this way it doesn't break down. You take it to a mechanic so that this way it's looked at and taken care of. And that's why we're here in the service industry to go ahead and help you with that process as well.
Yeah,
So-
and that's a very key point
Yes.
when you're putting your house on the market, right,
Yes,
my friend?
ma'am. It is.
Yeah,
It is
so that's great.
absolutely a key
This has
point.
been great to have you with us. Hope you'll come back.
It was a
Well,
blast.
I appreciate you guys having me. So
It was a
I mean,
blast.
thank you for the king. Thank you for having me.
And if you hadn't been able to zoom in, he's got the Roman plumber on that arm right there. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Frankie.
Thank
We'll be
you.
right
Yeah,
back.
we'll-
I appreciate
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Hi, everyone. Here we are. We're back again on My Chamber TV, the heartbeat of the Tampa Bay community. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. With me is King Pithla.
Paul Friedlander, and I didn't mention it in the first section, but I will mention the fact that my nomination came from both the West Pasco Chamber Ambassador Club as well as Pasco Kids First.
I am so not surprised, and when I saw that, now everybody can stop calling you Tina.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's a whole different story. You have to watch the last show from last month about that. But
we have us a lovely guest.
Yes, we do.
Big step up for my buddy Frankie. No,
please.
No shots, Frankie. Anyhow, but we have
Frankie was great.
We have Miss Richele Green on the show.
Hi, Michelle.
And Richele, and Richele's nickname is Richele. So as we just found out. So let's get right into it. You are an independent licensed advisor on the insurance side of things. So what is the difference between an advisor and an agent?
Correct. You know, the licensing is very much the same as far as I deal with health insurance under 65 market, but I am, as an advisor, I actually have the knowledge. I know everything that's out there. So, you know, it's a different standard when I'm educated on everything available on the private sector, also on the public sector, the state plans. Kind of held at a little higher standard. If I can't help someone, I certainly am going to assess their needs and make sure that they're in a good place and refer them to the right place, someone of trust and integrity.
That's good to know, because insurance, oh my goodness, it's like, which way do we go? Which way do we go, right?
It's very confusing.
Yes,
There's
very
lots
confusing.
of changes with this industry, and you've got to have somebody that keeps up with all those changes.
Right, and especially I'm assuming as well, not only getting into the older marketplace in terms of age, but also with small businesses where it can become so expensive.
Correct.
And yet you try to help your employees. And I think we haven't talked in detail, but I think you have some products that really do work and help small businesses also. But
correct.
Let me ask you a question. As it comes to the Affordable Care or the Obamacare, who qualifies for the free insurance subsidies?
You know, there are a lot of folks that are getting free insurance that are lower income.
Right.
You know, basically, if individuals' incomes anywhere from $12,000 to $48,000, they're going to qualify for some type of subsidy, some type of assistance. The lower at that range, they're probably getting free insurance on the marketplace. The higher that range, they may get, $100 or so off of their premium, just kind of simply stated.
And yet, if they're not in that income bracket, if they're in a higher income bracket, that insurance, that quote-unquote Affordable Care Act can be very expensive for them, can it not?
It can be very expensive, yeah. You know, for folks that are just making a decent living, families, individuals, it can be quite costly, and those deductibles are quite high on that option. There's some other things out there.
And if I had to take a wild guess, you probably have some advice for those people where they might be able to still get their health insurance and yet still save some money on it.
Yeah, most definitely. There's a lot of things out there available, outside of the marketplace. You do have to be careful. There's a lot of limited indemnity plans that aren't really protecting families in a way that they might think. They seem less expensive, but I think it's important to really dig in and understand how all these plans work.
And that's probably about cutting corners. And when it comes to your health insurance, we cannot cut corners.
You're absolutely right, Barbara. A $300,000 on a limited indemnity plan, a $300,000 hospital stay can just happen in over a few days.
That's right.
Those plans might cap, at 40, 60, 70,000, and folks don't have those out-of-pocket protection limits. So that's definitely something to consider and know about. There's also some of the better plans that are on the private market are underwritten. So some people that are fairly healthy can get very good discounts for being healthy versus discounts on income. So that that's out there too.
So what do they look for that?
Mostly, I always assess everyone individually. So someone that's in remission from cancer has very different needs for insurance than someone that's very healthy, active, goes to the doctor a couple times a year.
Gotcha.
So there are plans out there, that I'm going to make sure everyone's pre-existing stuff is covered, that, they have networks, that they have access to care. That's also very important.
Yes.
There's several things really to consider individually.
That's good. I love having pros like this.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes this show so much fun and hopefully helps the community, the people that are listening to this. Private pay versus the Affordable Care Act. What's the differences there?
The main difference, there's actually quite a few. The main difference is they're sold year-round private plans, so no one's ever actually married to their insurance plan. A lot of people got stuck with some real expensive Obamacare plans just during open enrollment. They're never married to that. If you can get into a better place, you know, you want to know what else is out there, right? Also, these plans are really designed for people a lot of times that are self-employed, like myself, that don't have, you know, the coverage through the employer, and that are going to cover them on and off the job. And then there are PPOs. So most of us kind of know from, if you've ever been on a group plan or back in the day before Obamacare, a PPO is really very desirable. You want to be able to go in and out of network. You want to cross state lines. A lot of folks don't realize their Obamacare plans are not covering them outside of the state.
Gotcha.
So, you know, we consider that, especially if, you know, if you're working on and off the job,
And
that's a big deal.
Absolutely, you travel.
Big deal.
Now, in advising and things like that, do you have ways that you can actually help families that are already on their employer's plan?
Yeah, you know, in fact, the way it used to be, if you were on a group employer plan, you were in a good place.
Right.
But it's kind of gotten, just like every other aspect of insurance, it's gotten very expensive. Boss man usually pays, so that's always a good thing for the employee or a portion of the employee. But I have a family I helped just, you know, right down the street recently, a couple weeks ago, and they were paying over $1,600 a month for the couple and their 16-year-old daughter to be covered on their group health plan. So in my opinion, that is not a good place to be. I mean, that's, you know, that's crazy. So I was able to put them really in a very good place and save them an awful lot of money, you know. They can play their family vacation now.
I hear that time and time again about insurance. I mean, it's crazy. So,
Richele, when we get back to it, do you have, are there plans, if we have somebody out there that's a small business owner that maybe has 2, 3, 4, 5 employees but would like to help cover them but really can't afford to do full product? Do you have products that you can help them with?
We actually do. We do have products, and I also, you know, have some advice. You know, I know that a lot of small business owners, to bring on a group plan can be very, you know, a lot of work. I know businesses that have actually had to hire an HR just because they wanted to bring on a group plan.
Sure.
And there are different ways you can approach that. Some employers, a big trend that's happening, especially with smaller businesses, they're offering a healthcare allowance. They're just writing a check once a month. They still get that write-off, and then that person has, you know, can go out and find their own insurance, and they own their policy. A lot of 1099 employees, you know, like to, you know, portable. We're, you know, we're on the go. We're here, we're there, and we're not, you know, stuck with someone.
And of course, being in the real estate industry on the title side, obviously most real estate agents are self-employed.
Absolutely. You know, for example, you know, I have a lot of real estate clients that are just independent, and that's a special needs too, because God forbid they're showing that house and they have a fall, break their leg. You know, that their spouse's group plan just probably will not cover that. You know, I ran medical offices for over 20 years. The first thing they ask on any medical claim is, was this accident related? What happened? What, when, where, and who is liable?
Absolutely.
So, you know, those things have to be considered. With private plans, they're actually built for these type of situations. They cover these individuals on and off the job in 50 states.
That's good.
You know,
so some of those are the things that are considered when you're building a plan for them.
Absolutely.
So when you say advise, so I'll just backtrack for a second, and it's an interesting point. So you'll actually can go in to a small business, to that owner, and act as that quote unquote on this side of the business, that HR type of a person to help them with their insurance. Is that correct?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do have access to those type of plans, and I do have partners in my network, also in our chamber, that help save businesses thousands and thousands of dollars with those administrative costs as third parties to help administer those things. Yeah, I do have those type of partners that I work with as well.
And you hear about the stories, and I know when you're talking about people that might be, you know, underemployed or low income and things like that. Is there anything out there, and I can tell you a story from way back when, but I won't bore you with that. Is there anything out there that can help with catastrophic?
There is. As a matter of fact, there is. You know, a lot of times even the lower income people that do have that free insurance are still looking at between an $8,000 and $12,000 deductible. So there are some products out there that can help offset that. There are some products out there, you know, God forbid you're diagnosed with something that will give them, you know, a lump sum check to help offset that and help, you know, keep the bills paid while they're getting better. You know, that's something I also consider when I'm talking to business owners. You know, what's going to happen if, you know, God forbid, you know, suffer that, you know, that heart attack or that stroke or that cancer diagnosis. You know, what is going to happen?
And it's not so much living in what-if land, it's just being prepared, you know, arming yourself with the knowledge to make the right decisions on, suppose that something did happen, you know.
Correct. You know, even our business owners, you know, the average American has about 2 weeks pay in their bank account. You know, what happens if you're, you're sick and you know, like I said, God forbid something happens. Medicine has come to a place where we're very fortunate. You're
Yes.
likely to survive that.
Yes.
Right.
But if you're not working for 3 or 6 months,
Yes.
you know, who's going to pay the mortgage? You know, the number one cause of bankruptcies is medical expenses.
I believe that.
Not so much. I know the doctors are they're doing okay. The hospitals are okay. My concern is that client. What's
Right.
going to happen? Who's going to pay your bills? Who's going to keep the mortgage paid? Who's going to keep the kids in college and keep that business running while you're getting better?
It makes sense. It really makes sense.
In fact, I could tell you a story about a client of ours in Tennessee. We're licensed in many states. We're actually licensed in 29 states.
Oh, awesome.
So I have a huge clientele here, but I also have clients all over the United States. But very healthy when she got on this plan. She was brought onto an underwritten plan, was in a very good place, and unfortunately she was diagnosed with brain cancer, a very rare brain cancer, and they had discovered 3 lesions on her brain. And lots of uncertainty when she called to check in with her agents to make sure she was in a good place, because they said, the best surgeon for this is at Duke University. And we'd like you to travel from Tennessee to Duke University. So I was able to at least,
that's huge.
lots of
That's
uncertainty
huge.
where the top surgeon for this rare cancer is.
Well, I don't think there's any question, Barb, that this young lady, if you're out there and you're struggling with all the things that are going on today, I don't think there's any question that this young lady right here can't help you and if more importantly, give you advice.
Absolutely. And just really arm yourself with the knowledge, because, as they say, knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely.
Well, that's
Yep,
great.
Absolutely.
And the key is advisor, not a salesman, but an advisor. And we appreciate
That's right.
that.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
We appreciate that.
That's wonderful.
important to do the right
do we?
thing.
I'm guessing that it might not be that easy, or is it easy to get a hold of you?
Actually, no. I'm available to my clients,
Okay.
and that's what they actually love about me. If they're traveling out of state, they're looking for a specialist, they have a situation, they want to know that they're in a good place,
Awesome.
they want to know that they can go see that surgeon, in the other state, and they're still going to have their bills paid and everything's,
Good. Peace
covered.
of mind. Peace
Yeah.
of mind.
My
well, thank you,
clients love
Richele.
that.
We
It's
appreciate
great
it.
to have you
Pleasure.
with
So
us.
much
It's been a
for coming on
pleasure.
today.
Hope to see you again soon. We'll be right back after this.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back into My Chamber TV. It's Barbara Marville Kelly and Paul Friedlander, also known as King Pithla. Thank you.
Thank you.
And all that kind of stuff, sir.
And I will thank the community for the honor of being able to represent you with my queen, Miss Lisa Shippy-Gonzalez, for the next year. So, again, thank you for the honor to do that.
I'm so excited for you because I know how hard you work in the community and never say no.
And let's talk about our buddy over here, Miss Kathleen Simington.
I remember Kathleen from the last time you were here, and so
Thank you.
welcome back again.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
You started this company how long ago, Kathleen?
18 years ago.
Did you?
Yes.
Started all by yourself.
Started it all by myself.
What
from
made you
scratch.
start that?
Well, my mother was a home health aide. My great-grandmother actually lived with us up until 45 days before her 100th birthday when she finally passed.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so I grew up in a very nuclear family, so home care was always just a part of our life. I was working for an agency up in New Jersey. I started as a caregiver in the field, and then I was working in the office as a receptionist. Then many years later, I became their regional manager, moved to Florida, and worked for an agency down here, but decided I wanted to kind of try it on my own, and that's been 18 years ago, so I think I did something right.
Yeah, I think you did. You did. So tell us about elder assistance, and I love this, a ray of hope. That's really good because you know what? Our seniors really do need help.
They do, and down here, they don't have that nuclear family. A lot of their families are from up north, and they've moved down here to retire, and this became their forever home. So I become their voice in the community, help them with doctor's appointments, and become their ray of hope so that they don't feel alone. I never want anyone to ever feel like they're alone. But what we do is non-medical home care. We come into the home and help people overcome whatever obstacles they might be having that make it difficult for them to age in place. So our goal is for people to be able to remain at home and stay in their familiar surrounding and have the care that they need so that they're able to go on with their everyday life.
Awesome. Well, talk to us about some of those services.
I was just reading my mind, Paulie.
Scope. We've been doing this for a long time.
I know.
Well, our services range from light housekeeping, laundry, linens, meal preparation, to transportation, to doctor's appointments, outings, hairdresser's appointments, going to see loved ones, medication reminders, promoting a safe bathing environment. We have social workers that refer houses to us that are people that are hoarders and they need to be able to be safe in their house. So we'll do clean outs. So it's a wide variety.
I was just going to say that hoarding is a big thing.
Do you have some partners you work with when you get in, let's say you get into a home and you realize that this person still takes showers or still takes baths, whatever it might be, but realize that environment's not safe because there's no hand bars or any.
Absolutely.
How do you guys go about taking care of that?
Well, especially being a member of the Chamber, I've been introduced to some wonderful people. But I haven't done this for as long as I have. I know what resources are out there, and being in the community for as long as I have, I know what resources are right here in the community. So I have a large binder under my desk when people call me, and it might not even be for home care that they're looking for. I try to still be of some type of a service to them. And then that way they remember me when they do need home care. But I have partnerships with a lot of people, handymen, a lot of home health agencies, because once we're in the home, we become the eyes and ears for the family. So we let them know that the next time they're at the doctor's, they really need to be able to talk about this so that they can start getting some services that might be provided to them by their health insurance. We're a private pay service, or long-term care insurance will also pay for services like ours as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so we try to partner with as many community members as there is to make it possible.
And I'm sure in a lot of these situations know what's going on, especially in this day and age and here in Florida. What if there's some things that need to be done, but they're on a very limited income? How does,
well,
is there some services out there?
There are some services out there.
Type of, not so much, I know with your business, but I mean with the being able to put up and make it a safe environment in the shower or a safe environment in the house.
There are services out there, and I know where to refer them depending on which need it is they're trying to meet. One of the things that we've done with our service is we don't have a minimum amount of hours. It's a 1 hour minimum. So if they do just need a little bit of help, we still provide that help to them. We also partner with some of the home health agencies. Referrals that come in, we kind of keep a database of it, and if they have someone that's fallen in that crack, we'll try to service them as best we can and adjust our rates so that we can make sure that their needs are being met until the services that are provided by the county or the state can then take over.
Kick in. I see. That's wonderful.
Do you guys, does your business fall under any type of Medicare or Medicaid reimbursement?
Medicaid reimbursement, not reimbursement, but coverage.
Gotcha.
They have a long-term care policy through Medicaid that covers homemaking and companion services and also respite services. Those services can be covered by our agency, and all they have to do is give me a call and I can walk them through how it is they need to get in touch, who it is they need to get in touch with, and what it is that they're trying to accomplish.
That's fabulous. You know, you never know what's going to happen in your life. Yeah. As you know, the last time I saw you, I was walking around with a little cane and a walker and all of that. And my poor husband, and don't you make any comments, because all I did, I mean, from barking orders, right, as kind as I could, but I've never, ever had anything like that with the torn meniscus and everything. So, and never really thought to call anybody for help. We just did the best we could with what we had to work with.
Right.
So this is really good knowledge. Or you would have been first on my list. Can you come help my poor husband? I can't do anything right now.
That's one of the things that I tell families when they come in to open a case. I personally come out to every case that we bring into the agency, and I talk with the family members or the client themselves so that I can make sure that all their needs are going to be met. But I tell people, you need to take care of you before you can take care of them.
Yes.
And I shared the story with you before we were on air that I had bilateral knee replacements. So my husband, too, knows that frustration that actually goes on in the home.
It's awful.
And then being the primary caregiver of my grandmother, who passed last year, actually in March, she had Alzheimer's. She was 94 years old. So we know those frustrations that the families are going through.
Sure, sure.
And too often you find, and that's what's neat about the Alzheimer's is one of, I shouldn't say one of the few, one of the ones that I do know that provide assistance for caregivers.
Yes, Alzheimer's Family Organization.
Yeah, and we all too often, and you must see it all the time, where we forget about the caregiver.
Yes.
It might be that 90-year-old couple where the husband's trying to take care of her.
And sometimes they just, if they can just get a little reboot, and I tell them that even if you just order 2 hours a month so that you can go out and have coffee with a friend that you don't normally get to see, sometimes that's just enough. It's just enough for them to be able to come back and
regroup.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of rejuvenate, renew it so they can keep on keeping on.
I know when we had my dad in the house on hospice, and even though Pam's an RN, and I think they probably took a little bit of advantage of the fact that Pam was an RN, but even when they actually have a sitter, somebody that's a volunteer that will come and sit with Dad so that the family can go have out to dinner and, like you say, reboot. I like that word.
Yeah. That's exactly what they need.
Often you know, we go, oh my gosh, this poor person has got cancer, has got whatever. We never think about the caregiver piece.
Yeah, no, and you get ran down as a caregiver, and then who's going to take care of you if you're sick?
Eventually, the caregiver becomes the patient. We see it time and time again, right? I have very dear friends right now as we speak where the husband is taking care of my dear friend who is in a hospital bed at home. And it's really sad, and he's just absolutely exhausted.
Absolutely.
I'm going to call him and see if he's getting any help like this, because I may have someone for you right
Wonderful.
now. It's very sad to see that with our friends. Very again, unexpected stuff just happens.
Yeah.
Out of the clear.
Yeah.
It does. And again, even the situation, like I said, with Dad, we brought him, they were living in Sarasota at the time. We put him in respite at assisted living that was right by our community. And Mom was a little bit again, we don't want to move, we don't want to, but this response to her was, Mom, we live in Palm Harbor and work 2 jobs. My sister and brother-in-law live in Fort Lauderdale. I said, if you get hurt, at that point she was very healthy, she's 96 and a half now, but if you get hurt trying to help Dad, we're all in a challenge.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, we're all in a challenge, and they tried to. I mean, she would have stayed down in Sarasota, and when he was, although he was very thin, he would go to fall. She'd try to help him catch him. I said, my sister, if she gets hurt, We're all in the world of hurt.
Well, and that's my biggest challenge going into a home is making people understand how useful something like this can be.
Yes.
So I always try to reach out to people and let them know that, like I said, that they're not alone.
And your business has 18 years. Your business, where did you start your business?
I started my business in my spare bedroom.
God love you.
Down here in yes, I was living in Hudson at the time. The first 6 months I worked out of my spare bedroom. I would go out and do cases myself, and then as soon as I would finish at a case, I'd run home, get changed, get out there and do some marketing, and it eventually just grew into what it is now.
How much of a territory do y'all cover?
We cover Citrus, Hernando, Pasco, Pinellas, and parts of Hillsborough County. We're one of the largest non-medical home care agencies, privately owned. We've been one owner, same owner for the full 18 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
that is so.
we're
God
not a
bless
franchise.
You.
We're family owned and operated.
See, and we love that.
It was a blessing to have you come back on today.
Yeah,
Really
thank
appreciate it.
I truly appreciate the opportunity.
Guys, you know, you can't say enough about the businesses and the people and the big hearts in this community. There's a whole bunch of King Pithlas and Queen Chascos out there.
Boy, isn't that the truth? And I want to thank you again for coming back. And like I say, I'm going to call my friends for you and for them.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to have these people come in.
is.
And, you know, this goes really right back to that family feel in the community. West Pasco is such an amazing community where you feel at home. So if you're a business owner, think about joining the Chamber of Commerce. People like this lovely lady here that shares what her services are, and you just never know when you may need something like that. That's what we do here on My Chamber TV. We'll be right back.
This is the Cannabis Podcast, powered by TrueLeaf on Radio Influence. It's an inside look and the scientific facts in and around the world of medical cannabis. Now, here is your host, Ian Beckles.
He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
so much.
Yeah.
There's
I don't even
so
know if we're making it to the dogs
And why
tonight.
should we be? Why would this be any different? That we should be paying attention when you tell us that we're back.
I know, right?
That's what makes this show so much fun. It's live, and we mess up all the time, but we do have fun doing it.
Hell yeah.
And I think we look good doing it.
I think you look fabulous.
Our crown's good.
Absolutely.
And we are back, and we are representing the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce today.
Yes.
And as I mentioned, I was nominated for King Pithla by both the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce ambassadors as well as Pasco Kids First, and my awesome best friend and lovely queen, Miss Lisa Shippy-Gonzalez, was nominated by the Rotary Club of Holiday.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I'm so excited for you guys. We've been doing these shows and talking about the king and queen for almost 5 years now.
5 years now.
So, so I'm going to just turn the show over to you, so you can just talk about this for those that are tuned in that they have no idea what the king and the queen and what you've been doing. I personally know that you have been involved in the community, but take it from there, Polly.
You start, girl, because I'm going to look up for an email that we got from Evie real
Oh,
quick.
good.
Well, first and foremost, we were nominated based on community service that we do in West Pasco and really all of Pasco. Different things that we participate in, all of them typically nonprofit related or at least something that gives back to the community. It's a time-honored tradition. Started in 1922, so close to 100 years. And the coronation ball was the 34th annual?
34, I believe it was the 34th annual Coronation Ball.
Which benefited the Lighthouse for the Blind, which is an amazing cause.
Yes.
And they do some great work in this community. And so we get to be rewarded, I guess, by being king and queen for a year, and it's a legacy, and it's a very small group of people that you get to be part of, and it's an honor.
It is an honor.
And this is what the press release was, and I just wanted to. It's not to aggrandize myself or Lisa. Trust me, that's not what it's all about. Because Sunday morning, Lisa, myself, and Angel Cook and Kim Bogart, who were previous 2 years ago. The four of us were out on Grand picking up the trash from the parade. So, so it's not about aggrandizement. That's not about, it's still about giving back to the community. But two of Pasco's prestigious organizations were quick to nominate Paul Friedlander, 2017 Humanitarian of the Year recipient and a 2018 Be More Involved finalist. Paul's truly dedicated to being involved in many levels to help make Pasco's organization successful and more profitable. And then we'll skip all the other and we'll go down here to my buddy, Miss Lisa. And Lisa was in keeping with her philosophy that time is precious. Lisa Shippy-Gonzalez is generous in giving of her time to the community in which she feels so blessed to be a part. As a local business owner, she's also generous with her professional experience and resources. Lisa takes responsibility without hesitation. She's the assistant governor for Rotary District 6950 and active in the boards of entities like Marchman Tech, Pace Center for Girls, Junior Achievement, and on and on and on. But here's the bottom line. It is the event that takes place, as she mentioned, the Chasco Ball Lighthouse for Visually Impaired and Blind. The event kicks off the Chasco Fiesta, raises funds in support of the Lighthouse for the Blind. This year's major sponsor, which I believe is the second year in a row, was Morton Plant North Bay.
Nice.
There were other sponsors. Camp Rouge and Green is one of the sponsors of the parade, Rotary Club of Newport Richie, but the Hook Law Group. The event encourages local philanthropy by honoring the nominees for King Pithla and Queen Chasco with a royal coronation. And that's what it's all about, guys. It's really about giving back to the community.
Yes.
It's not about us. It's what we have been blessed to be able to be ambassadors for the West Pasco community and its nonprofits for the next about 361 days, and it truly is a blessing.
It truly is. We get an extra day, so we feel kind of special.
That.
Yes,
And put that extra day on your calendar because we are planning
a fundraiser for Pasco Kids First.
That's what I hear.
And it is going to be a Latin Nights festival, so we are super excited.
Cool.
As everybody knows, Paul is an amazing dancer.
He sure is.
And dance instructor.
So is her husband, Rudy.
Oh,
yes.
Great.
So we're going to put on some great Latin fare, and we are going to dance and drink some mojitos and have a great time.
And it was really funny because we were talking about February 29th without realizing that February 29th 29th actually falls on a Saturday night.
Ha!
So we are going to have a leap year Latin night.
Leap year, I love it.
Leap year, yeah, that's right. Now, you didn't have that Saturday planned anyway, because you weren't planning on having that Saturday.
See that?
So there shouldn't be anything on your calendar. It was an extra day in your schedule.
There you go. So check it out, and we'll be talking about it through the year.
Lisa, let's talk about some of the other stuff going on this week and coming up.
Okay.
We've got, tonight you're on your way to, Frankie just gave a really nice pitch on his segment about the West Pasco Rotary Club, which is now a chartered club, I think, with close to 30 members already.
Yep, the Sunset Club.
As her assistant governor, our assistant governor, my Rotary also, Miss Lisa's going to be making an appearance there tonight as Queen Chasco and as the assistant governor. Then I'll be at the trade show tonight at the Verizon Event Center. There's a trade show for the West Pasco Board of Realtors, and I believe our guru behind the scenes here, Mr. John Gaston, is not with us this afternoon because he's already over there set up to do some interviews and say hello to people and have some fun. So if you guys have time, come on over to the Verizon Event Center. That's from 5 to 7:30. The Rotary Club of West Pasco Sunset meets from 6 to 7, I think. I know
6 to 7, probably 7:30,
right.
yeah.
So, and that's at Whiskey Joe's?
No, Whiskey River.
Whiskey River, I'm
sorry. Whiskey River up in their private room. And we're going to go to the art walk at the West Pasco courthouse to look at the art on display from our local elementary schools with our very own clerk of the court, Paula O'Neill.
Oh, nice.
Who unfortunately, we are going to be losing at the
That's okay. We have a great replacement.
Yes, we
no
do.
worries.
Yes, we do. Miss Nikki Souls Alvarez is hanging right in there behind her, so we're excited about that. There's bands in the park all this week. It's all free until Saturday night, and then let's say, I think Thursday, I can't tell you what's going on tonight, but Thursday night is a blues type of a night in the park.
Oh, nice.
Friday night is a rock and roll. They're going to be doing there's a Four Seasons tribute band.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, that'll be nice.
That'll be awesome. And then Saturday, we'll be at the boat parade.
Yes.
And then the concert that night, the Greg Billings Band is one of our local awesome bands, is going to be kicking off for Eddie Money.
Yep.
Wow.
And don't forget there's a golf tournament on Friday.
Yes, on Friday. I'm sorry, I'm part of that.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a golf tournament.
I
think we're almost all sold out, but if you'd still like to golf, we'd love to have you give us a call and come on out. Call the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, and they will give you the details. It's an awesome golf tournament, 7 Springs. Registration 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock shotgun start, and the food is being catered for lunch by
Pit Boss.
By Slice of Life for lunch. And then dinner is going to be catered by our buddy Mr. Tim Sherrill at Pit Boss.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I love him.
great day of good food.
Is doing one, and Kim is doing the other.
Nice. Very nice.
And then Saturday is in. I think we actually get the Lord's Day of Rest on Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah, we sleep.
Kick off whatever's happening next week.
That's it.
I'll tell you, there is so much happening in this community. It's just one big family. It really is. How long have you been in this community?
2002 is when I first started up here. So 17 years this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing when time flies like this. And you've been how long with the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce?
Oh, really? Since 2002? Judy Parker.
Yeah?
Judy Parker brought me in with Honey Baked Ham way back in the day.
Okay.
When we first opened it, and we're still good friends, and she's in Rotary with me, and you eventually become part of the smallest, biggest city in the whole wide world.
I love to hear you say that, and it's the smallest, biggest city that really has a big heart.
It does, huge.
I've never known that, and I raised my boys in Pasco County, and they turned out very well, but I had no idea the heartbeat of this community goes way back then when they were just wee ones. So it's people like yourselves that have just given back. I had no idea that a chamber could be so connected to the community, and eventually people become besties. They really do. Besties in business, besties as friends, and it just makes everything nice.
Yeah,
it does. Much better.
It does. And I think my boss has directed us, but anyways, here's what we're going to do, guys. At least for this week, maybe longer, but for this week, you catch us, take a selfie or take a picture with us, and post it and tag either myself and or Lisa. We are donating $1 back to our buddy Mr. J. David Wright's favorite charity, Wheelchairs for Kids.
Ooh, I want to take a selfie, except my arms aren't long enough.
Yeah, that's all right. You can take a regular. We'll get Rob to come out here later and take a regular picture with us.
Yeah, and if you tag us, and that money goes to Wheelchairs, because Dave takes all of our pictures in the community.
Awesome,
so
awesome.
Very grateful.
Yeah, and there were some very, very deserving people that were.
I know. It is so true.
It's
yes,
about the community.
It really is. I saw all the pictures and the congratulations, and I was at home watching it all, and I was so excited for everybody.
And it's fun, and we get to wear these crowns, and we get to but it really is, as I mentioned earlier, and Lisa and I talked about, it really is a responsibility because we've taken on the responsibility of an event that's taken place, or not, the event's only been 34 years, but the nominating of and picking of Queen Pithla and Queen Chasco has gone on since 1922.
Can you believe
So
that? I mean,
this
is
the
fun.
97th year.
I know.
And that gives us the humble of being, like I said, an ambassador to our community and the not-for-profits.
Yes, absolutely. That's what it's all about. And I'll tell you, if you're a business owner, you really need to check out West Pasco and check out some of the different, even if you're not a business owner, check out some of the different events that are coming in the community. If you'd like to participate or donate, and come to these events over the weekend, during the week. I mean, they're all over the place.
Call the chamber. The chamber has a brand new calendar that lets you know everything that's going on. And you know what? Before we close out of here, I want to make a big shout out to two people that have to be very, very understanding this year, and that's my beautiful wife, Pam Friedlander, and my good buddy, Mr. Rudy Gonzalez. We thank you, both of us. Thank you very much for being patient
Thank
with
you
us
for
this year.
dealing with us.
Yes, exactly.
Up until now and for the next 361.
Exactly.
And that's a lot. You guys are going to be meeting yourself coming and going. I've watched it happen. We've interviewed before. So congratulations once again. You're both a delight.
And thank you for everything you do for our community. I don't ever think I say enough about that.
Oh, shucks, Paul.
I really do appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and it's my pleasure to host the show. We're here every Wednesday doing My Chamber TV and really bringing the community to you to help you get out, see what's happening, see what kind of services that are available for you. And we're really a phone call away. These people are a phone call away, a visit away to an event. So check out the West Pasco Chamber of Commerce, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Next Wednesday is the Palm Harbor Chamber of Commerce, and I think we're going to be on location somewhere, but we'll see you then. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us today. Be well.